Plaintiff Pamela Sheffield says after her mother passed away, her cousin, the defendant, took care of her. Pamela claims if it weren't for the defendant, she probably would have ended up in foster care. But she's suing her today for the balance due on a loan. Defendant Cassell Henderson says ever since she took Pamela in, it's been nothing but problems. Cassell claims Pamela is so defiant and disrespectful that she assaulted Cassell numerous times, and she has the police reports to prove it.
Start with you.
Since I was 12 years old, I've been living with my cousin Cassell here. My mother passed in 2009. My cousin has been taking care of me since then. I'm very grateful for her. She has done a lot for me in these past few years. If it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'll be. I'll probably be in a foster home. She's an alcoholic. She fills water bottles up.
That was a pretty drastic switch.
Yeah, quick transition.
Yeah, you switched up real quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She has filled water bottles up in public with vodka. She has been to prison a few times.
What does that have to do with anything? You want to protest her?
Yes, I do.
Making all these allegations? Go ahead.
It is true that I took her in, and if I hadn't, she would have been in a foster home. But since I've had her, I have nothing but problems. She's incorrigible.
And by the way, she's able to discuss your character now because you began discussing hers. You opened the door. However, she gets to respond to what you have said and give testimony of your character. Go ahead.
She has been very defiant, disrespectful, to the point where she's been put her hands on me. And I have police
and
reports.
And she has put you put your hands on me too.
Let me see your police report. Let me see yours, young lady. Let me see your police reports.
I don't have a police report. I have messages on Facebook about...
No, that says she put her hands on you?
No.
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
I did defend myself. I was actually told by the police to defend myself against her because it's not just one time that she has put her hands on me. She has put her hands on me 3 or 4 times.
Her head.
Yeah. She's tore up my house, put holes in the wall.
Grabbed her by the hair and then ripped.
You have choked me out plenty of times in the garage.
Doesn't say anything about that, man.
It sure don't. Where your police reports at?
How can I get you the one that filed the police report?
You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
When the police come, ma'am, they would include your...
they would have told your statement as well.
Yeah, they sure would have. All right, and they blame it all on you, young
And as far as her speaking on me being an alcoholic, dealing with her, you gotta drink. For real, you gotta drink. But Your Honor, since she brought up my prison life, I've been to prison 3 times for being addicted to crack cocaine. I've been clean 11 years. When I got her, I had just got out of prison. I have no children, so when I got her and her sister, they became my responsibility, and I refused to allow them to live the life of our family, because our family is nothing but drug addicts and alcoholics. I didn't want her to live the kind of lifestyle that I had lived, to follow my footsteps. So I changed my life, and I continued on the path that I'm on now, to where I'm not the person I was going back and forth to prison. So for her to throw that in my face, that's a story. She doesn't even know that story of me. I've told her that because I didn't want her to be me. I didn't want her to be a drug addict, none of that.
Yeah,
but since she's left my home, I've heard plenty of times that she's snorting cocaine, doing speed.
That's a lie.
You know, but she's even told me out of her own mouth how she was selling her body to take care of herself.
That's a lie.
That's not a lie.
She have started that rumor that I have sold my body, and that is a lie.
Now. You didn't want to start
You told me that in my room.
I've never told you I sold my body.
Whatever the case was with you,
yes,
she led off her testimony that you took good care of her, and she's very grateful. So as you say, it must have occurred after your troubles.
Yes, it did.
You taking care of her, and so you making reference to her background does not tarnish her, because you started out saying, Your Honor, she's taking great care of me. She's done a good job with me. But she went to prison and she's a drunk and a dope fiend. She admits to being all that in the past, but I believe she cleaned herself up, as she says, to become a good guardian. Now, did you ever try to get her counseling?
Yes.
And what happened?
She refused to participate.
I've had counseling.
I've put her in group counseling because of the death of her mom. Nice. She had separation anxiety. So I got her counseling.
Probably result of.
Yeah, she refused to participate. She didn't want to talk to them because no one understood how it felt to lose their parent because she had lost hers. So yeah, I did try to get her counseling.
And you say you went? How long?
For a few years, for a couple of
How
years.
often?
Probably a few times out of a month that I went for counseling.
You didn't do you? You didn't.
I
it
did go to
wasn't helpful?
counseling. It's hard for me to explain how I feel about my mom. I don't feel comfortable talking to anyone about me and my mom.
Excuse me, only when she's mad. When she wants
man.
something, okay.
Be quiet. So, all right, but that's that's what counseling is about. What did you go there and do when you were there then?
I didn't feel comfortable talking to
people. So what did you do in the counseling session? You didn't talk?
I did a little bit, but it didn't help me.
Because you would talk about it. That's
true.
Why. All right. Not much I can say about that. I believe that her troubles, ma'am, were a result of the trauma she suffered with her mother's passing.
The trouble started before then. Pam was having problems in school.
How do you know?
How do I know? Because I took her to the school to enroll her, and they
mother
refused.
Wasn't there then?
She was a drug addict as well.
Okay, well, then that's probably why.
Okay, since she's left my home, I've heard plenty of times that she's snorting cocaine, doing speed.
That's a lie.
But she's even told me out of her own mouth how she was selling her body to take care of herself.
That's a lie.
That's not a lie.
You have started that rumor that I have sold my body, and that is a lie.
No, you didn't want to start
You told me that.
Plaintiff Pamela Sheffield is suing her cousin, who claims Pamela confessed that she was working as a prostitute.
Tell me about the money you suing her for. This loan.
In March of 2015, I received a trust fund of my mom passing away. I gave Cassell $2,000 for her to go back to school. I gave her $2,500 for us to move to a new home. I ended up moving out of her home because of a situation of a chore. And she has made one payment of $150. And what was the payment plan? That she was going to pay me back immediately as she can. And all I received was $150.
Your Honor.
Have you all discussed it?
I have text messages of me and her having a conversation about the money.
And I'll read the text, but just in general, when you'd ask about the money, what would she say?
She would make up excuses for her not to give me my money. She even threatened me a few times about her not giving me my money.
Then again.
Ma'am, tell me about this loan.
It's true that I did take her to Arizona to get the money that her mom left for, she was given from her mom. I had lost my mom in 2014, and I had stopped going to school, or I was going to stop. Pam offered many of times to give me the $2,000 to pay the school back. I didn't want to take her money because I know how Pam is. She insisted. I got witness statements that were living with us who heard her, and she talked to them about her giving me the $2,000 to pay my school back so I can graduate. She did.
Why did you change your mind?
After talking to Tanisha and the witness, Jasmine, I had worked really hard to get to school. When my mom died, I was going to stop going to school.
Why?
Because I had just lost my mom and my grandmother at the same time. And
do you think that's what they would have wanted?
Yes.
They would have wanted you to stop going to school?
No. Oh, I thought you meant to keep going.
Right.
No, they wanted me to graduate, and that was one of the reasons why I took the money, because Pam said I had worked so hard, and I shouldn't just give up.
Okay.
So I accepted the money, but I let her know that, Pam, I can't give you this money back. You know what I'm saying? I don't have an income. My mom and grandmother, I was taking care of them, and that was my income.
Excuse me.
Hold on. What income did she have?
I don't know exactly what her income is.
That's what we're talking about.
But
go ahead. You say you didn't have any income.
No.
All right.
Far as the $2,500 for the home, we have been living with Tanisha since my mom and grandmother died, rent-free. She was paying rent and bills.
How long was that?
Excuse me.
2014 till she moved out in 2015.
All right, so she lived 1 year without paying the defendant? I'm sorry, your witness?
My witness, Tanisha.
All right, so she did ultimately pay the $2,500. That was to your witness or to you? Or and you gave it to the witness?
It was she gave it to both of us. She gave it to me, and I gave it to her to pay rent for the home that we were in. Yes.
Okay. All right, ma'am, did you live in the witness's home?
Yes.
How long?
For about we lived actually before we even moved.
With the witness? I'm asking about her.
It was longer than a year.
Did you pay?
Why would I pay her? And she's
because
my guardian.
It's her house. Because you're living under her roof.
Okay.
Did you pay anybody for living under her roof, whether it's her or whether it's the defendant?
The $25 for us to move into a new home.
No. Listen to me carefully. Okay. Did you pay anybody for room and board for the 1 year that you lived with the witness?
No.
Okay, so you lived for free for a year. All right, just making sure we got that established. Now, how were you caring for her prior to this money?
The state was giving me $331 for her, but I was working through.
When did that end?
When she went to the county building and told me she had been out of my home.
When?
She moved out in March.
So March of 2015, she didn't stay with you nor the witness anymore.
No.
All right. Prior to that, however, you were getting $300 a month
$331
for her for an entire year until she moved out. So what's the extra for? You charge a whole lot for room and board.
No.
$300 a month for a young teenager is enough. So that $2,000 or so that you charge her for room and board, that's unreasonable.
I got her and her sister. They became my responsibility, and I refused to allow them to live the life of our family, because our family is nothing but drug addicts and alcoholics. I didn't want her to live the kind of lifestyle that I had lived, to follow my footsteps.
Plaintiff Pamela Sheffield is suing her cousin, who claims Pamela confessed that she was working as a prostitute.
You never gave her any money out of the $4,000 you're suing for?
No.
All right, and ma'am, why'd you give her $150 if you did?
Because the $22.50 she gave for rent and bills at the old house, that was for the old house. She gave me $250 to give her own room when we moved into the new house. When she moved out of the house that we were living in, I gave her back $150 because she wasn't moving in with us, and I told her I'm the one who drove her to Arizona to get the money, so I was going to keep that for gas, and she said okay.
All right. Don't believe you, I believe her.
Okay.
I believe you're being unreasonable. She should have had her own room all alone for $300 a month in a household with others. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. Good luck to you, young lady.
You was a disrespectful lying little.
Actually,
And you know what? Karma's gonna get you.
Karma already got you.
No, it don't
That's
got
why
me.
you
You mad because I got a new car.
I ain't got time for you.
Because I got a new car, a new job. You mad?
You're a waste of time. You're a waste of time. I ain't got time for you no more, Cassell. You hurt me too many times, and I'm tired of you. For real, you have hurt me too many times.
please.
And Tanisha, you wrong. It's cool. It's cool. It's whatever. I'm done with y'all. It's cool. I don't have nothing to do with you, period.
Plaintiff Angela Pop dated the defendant, but only after she got pregnant did he confess that he had 4 other children. Angela claims she was forced to raise her baby alone for the first 4 months. And after they broke up, the defendant couldn't pay child support. Angela's suing her ex-boyfriend for 2 unpaid loans. Defendant Brian Fratton says he was always honest with Angela, and she knew from the start that he had 4 children. Brian admits that he's had a hard time holding down a job, but claims it's because he is addicted to prescription pills. Brian denies owing Angela for anything.
Start with you.
Well, I started dating Brian, and 7 months later, I found out that I was pregnant. And I confided in Brian, and I told him that I was.
You confided in him?
Yeah, I told him that.
Was he the father?
Yes.
I probably shouldn't tell you this.
Yeah, right. What would be the other thing I probably shouldn't tell you? Like Doyle says, yeah.
Okay. Well, I told him that I was pregnant, and instead of comforting me, he told me that he had 4 other children. So that was a big shocker. So I was even more scared. Wasn't sure what I was going to do.
How old are you all?
I'm 22.
You, sir?
29.
Go ahead.
So after I told him that we were living with my parents, and my parents kicked him out because they found out that he was lying about his age. He said he was 25 and he was actually 28 at the time.
All right, let me hear from him. Tell me about meeting and all of that.
That's a lie, and she manipulates it. I never actually, I told her from the get-go how many kids I had, and I told her she shouldn't lie to her parents about how old I was.
What about the child? Did you do anything to avoid impregnating her,
Yes,
or
I did.
ask her to do something different?
She was on birth control, and I was using condoms. So.
Both.
Yes.
All right, so you really did the max. You own birth control, you were using condoms. That's a miracle. This child might be divine. Go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am. So once the child arrived, how did things go?
Well, I was staying with my parents for the first 4 months, so he wasn't really around because my parents do not like him at all. So I took care of her for the first 4 months, and I moved out.
And where did you move? In with them?
No, I moved into my own place.
How did things go then?
Things were going good then, so he could actually see his daughter more because he never really seen her for the first 4 months unless I left with him.
And when did things go bad?
I loaned him some money.
Okay, it's about the loan. That's what caused things to go wrong?
Yes.
All right, sir, let me hear from you.
I started staying with her on and off, staying with my mother the other half, but things were great until, I guess I started getting in some trouble.
Why you have to stay with everybody?
I'm not very good with money, I guess you'd say, and I had worked for Papa John's for 12 years, and then I got fired.
Why?
Stupid mistake, shooting a BB
Who
gun.
steals pizzas? Oh, okay, shooting a BB gun.
Yeah.
Where?
A can outside the back of the building.
Okay, sir. How old were you, sir?
I was 26. I was an idiot.
26.
I was stupid. He was on birth control and I was using condoms. So.
Both. All right, so you really did the max. You own birth control, you were using condoms. That's a miracle. This child might be divine. Go ahead.
Plaintiff Angela Pop has a child with the defendant, but she claims she was forced to raise their child alone for the first 4 months because the defendant never came around.
Ma'am, tell me about the loans.
Okay. I have 2 separate loans. I loaned him $1,500 for a car.
When?
This was in November.
Month and year.
November 2015.
Mm-hmm. When was he to repay?
With his taxes in March of 2016.
All right, so you obviously don't watch Judge Mathis.
Right. Well, he had his taxes before, the year before, he got like $7,000 back. So
Okay.
I thought he would be getting a big lump sum this.
All right, so what did happen with the tax money that he was to give you?
He said it went all to child support. He said he didn't get any.
How far back, sir, did you owe child support?
Right around $4,000.
No, how far back? Years?
Oh, 1 year. I've always paid up in full by the time.
So only the year you were unemployed?
Yes. I've never fallen more than 6 months behind in child support, so.
Okay, all right. Does that sound about right? You wouldn't know. All right, he told you anything. All right, next, the other $1,500 I see he owes you.
Then I loaned him another $1,500 in February because he was going to go to jail and I didn't want Serenity, which is our daughter, to not have her father around.
All right, so you gave up $1,500. When was he to repay that?
With my taxes. I got mine in February. He was supposed to get his in March. This was the same stuff. It was for the same
Okay.
loan. He was supposed to pay the $3,000 back in full. And
All right.
then we broke up and things got bad. I took him to court for child support.
Now, was he working?
He was working different jobs, but he always got fired from his jobs. He got fired first for stealing from his boss. He got fired for not passing a drug test, and another one he just quit.
You a dope fiend?
Dope fiend, I guess you could say. I do Percocets.
What got you started on that?
I had cancer when I was 20.
And many people start as a result of some illness they had. Surgery, back injuries, and that pain doesn't go away. You're an addict. And your tolerance goes up such that you need more to address the pain. Then you want more because taking it to address the pain also gets you a little high. Particularly when you throw a little liquor and a little weed on it. Am I saying anything wrong?
No.
I got it down, don't I?
Yes, you do.
You would think I was a dope fiend the way I talk.
I think you did it.
If I did everything that I know about many of you watch, I would be a crackhead. I would be on heroin. I would be on pills. So I just have a little insight because I come from a background and still associate with folks who are troubled with addiction. Okay, that's his issue. Drugs, that preempts any of this other stuff we're talking about. Whether he wanted to repay you or not, you weren't gonna get paid. I don't care if income tax gave him extra. That money was going to the pharmacy, probably wouldn't give him any more. They wouldn't write him any more prescriptions. So he went to the street, no doubt, for the Percocets. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
You better quit being right about this.
Say quit being right.
People are gonna talk.
I don't want to go to the heroin because when you can't afford pills anymore, you go to the heroin. And then the other half who just want to get high. And they try it once from the pill popper turned heroin addict. The pill popper turned heroin addict tells the young folks that they hang out with, man, you take a hit of this, that weed ain't nothing. And they take that hit of heroin. With a lot of times they start out snorting the heroin, putting the heroin on foil and smoking it, all kind of ways. And then when that runs out of effectiveness, boom. So that's what we see going on in our society. But let's get back to the loan that you're suing him for that you're not gonna get. Because that's going to the pill man. Sir, you tell me about these loans.
The car, $1,500 that I owe for that, I didn't owe for that. That was for our family car. We both drove that back and around, and it didn't become mine until she got a new car.
You saying she gave it to you?
Yes.
After she bought a new car?
Yeah. After the car.
She bought a brand new car and gave you the old one?
Yep. And basically just...
What type did she give you? What year and type did she give you?
An 01 Chrysler.
Okay, and she gave this to you in 16?
Yep.
That sounds reasonable, ma'am. He says you bought a brand new car and then gave him the 2001. And the father of your child, you probably wanted him to have a car to drive to work or to try and find work. What he says makes sense. You didn't give it to him. You didn't buy a new car and give him the old one.
I bought an 04. I didn't buy a 2016. So
You bought an 04.
yeah, it wasn't.
How much was yours?
Bought it for $25 and then registered.
You
so
bought it
like,
for $2,500.
Yeah, so it was about $2,700.
And he says you gave him one for $1,500.
Right, so I don't see how I can do that. I don't have that kind of money.
Now that doesn't sound reasonable. All right, so what about the other loan, the $1,500 for your child support?
It was a gift to keep me out of jail. It was a gift. It was basically to help me stay
Why wouldn't
with
you
the
repay
kids. I would if I could. I can't.
You can't pay your child support either.
I've paid my child support. That's all I've paid.
Are you
Don't pay my
continuing
child
to pay it?
support.
As much as I possibly can as a
Are you working?
I'm a caregiver. I take care of my grandmother.
Are you working outside of that?
No, not at
Why
this
aren't you
time.
working midnights? Then take care of grandma during the day.
I would love to if I could find a job. I'm having issues doing that.
When is the last time you had? Well, of course, because
About
you have to
3
take a
months
blood
ago.
test.
Plaintiff Angela Pop has a child with the defendant, but she claims she was forced to raise their child alone for the first 4 months because the defendant never came around.
You need to either go to rehab or jail. Now, which one you want?
I love rehab, but
All right, we're going to help you go to rehab. We're going to get you some treatment, whether we pay for it or whether we arrange to have it paid for by the Affordable Care Act, which now provides access to a lot of drug institutions. All right? So we're going to arrange that for you. However, you do owe her, and I'm going to order you to pay her with these odd jobs that you're working. Good luck to you. $3,000
I'm gonna go back home and I hope he goes to rehab and gets a job and takes care of his daughter.
I hope things can start changing and we can still take care of our daughter together and move on with our lives and things start getting better.
Plaintiff Aaron Knox says he left a dangerous neighborhood in New Jersey and moved to Georgia where he met the defendant. Aaron claims the defendant was a nice suburban boy, and being around him was great because he never had to worry about being shot at or arrested like in his former neighborhood. However, Aaron's suing him today for stolen property. Defendant Nicholas Bell says Aaron is such a smooth talker that he could sell ice to an Eskimo. Nicholas claims Aaron is a swinger who preys on older women, and he once walked in on Aaron giving a massage to a woman who is nearly 70. Nicholas is countersuing for unpaid wages.
Start with you.
All right, I met the defendant Nicholas Bell about 2 years ago. We hit it off real good. He had a lot of energy, a lot of charisma about him, and it's not what I used to. I'm used to guys from the hood. That's where I came from, Trenton, New Jersey. He's from the suburbs. So when I got him,
Suburbs of what?
suburbs of Canton, Georgia. And I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. It's rough out there, there's a lot of violence. And I left and I came down here, so being around Nick was cool. Because if I got in the car with Nick, I didn't have to worry about nobody shooting at us. I didn't have to worry about the cops pulling us over, finding drugs in the car, or guns, and being arrested. I've been locked up before a few times. I went to jail for 10 years, saying from 16 to 26 years old.
Long bit.
Yeah, so when I came down here and dealing with somebody like him, I'm like, that's cool. So we was going out to parties, club hopping. He'd get me in any club I wanted to. We was in Atlanta. So we'd get to the club, it'd be packed. 2 lines around the corner, $50 to get in. Nick, he'd go to the back door, say a few words to somebody, and get us right in. Free of charge. Atlanta, all the clubs around Atlanta. We're going down to New Orleans doing it, North Carolina, Virginia. That's just the type of person he is. So I'm partying every week with this dude. And I miss my youth. You get what I'm saying? I miss 10 years. So being around him, it's like I'm getting my youth back. I'm 30. I'll be 30 next month. He's 20 years old. I got him about 10 years. Yeah, so being around him is like giving me my life back. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, next thing you know, I mean, he could see 3 girls right here, standing right there, and be like, watch this. He'd tap me, watch this. Walk over there, say a few words to the girls, call me over there. I walk over there, next thing you know, I'm a football player. I'm like, how does this happen? You know what I'm saying? So I rose with it. You know, we had fun with him, whatever. And this was every week. This became my life. You get what I'm saying? Every single weekend.
Making up for the time lost.
I had to.
You want to give me some background, sir?
Yes. Well, when I met Mr. Knock, you know, he seemed like a cool guy. He's all right. I mean, he says I'm the smooth talker. That's definitely him. You know, he could sell ice to an Eskimo. So, I mean, he preys on the older women. Like, that's his thing. Straight, he gets them to take care of him, do his hair, dress them up. Okay. Like, older women, that's his thing. So he
goes to the nursing homes or what?
Prowls. I mean,
senior citizens apartments.
Man, I mean, I don't know how he found them. That's what he does.
Go ahead.
I mean, I walked in on him one day and he was rubbing down a 6-year-old. She had to be pushing 70, like just rubbing her down, all sensual. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm looking at him crazy, and he looks at me like,
I do massages, Your Honor.
So I'm looking at him like, whoa, like, what are you doing? So she leaves, and I'm like, bro, what was that? You know? And I was like, what are you doing? And he looked at me like, man. He's like, I was rubbing hundreds right there. He's like, that's all.
That's right, he massaging. Now, like he says, he's a masseuse. He's rubbing hundreds, mean he's being paid to massage.
So, kiss on him too?
Oh, I don't know about that part. But other than that, you all would go to clubs together and enjoy the fun together and all around. And who would get in the clubs the easiest? That was you? You were the man or he?
No, see, I was a man with that. But until, you know, I went around his crowd. You know, I was like, okay, you know what I do. You know, take me around. Let me see what you do. So he invites me to a little kickback.
You playing bingo?
Oh man.
That's what his crowd did.
Old ladies, right?
No, what would happen?
So I go. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I knock on the door. As soon as the door opens, everybody's butt booty naked. Straight swinger party. He's a swinger. I didn't know. Orgies, like crazy. Everybody's naked. Like, ain't never seen nothing like that. And he's just having like the time of his life. I guess 10 years, he's making up for lost time. I don't know.
Plaintiff Aaron Knock is suing his former friend, who claims Aaron preys on older women. And he once walked in on Aaron giving a massage to a woman who is nearly 70.
Tell me why you're suing him for stolen property. What happened?
Okay, the reason I'm suing Nick today, when I got out of prison in 2013, I was like, I'm never going back. I vowed to never go back. Good. I'm never going back. So what I did was, I still had the hustle in me. I still had the grind in me, you get what I'm saying? So I started twisting locks. I started doing hair. I was selling weave. I was selling dresses, sunglasses.
Weave or weed?
Hair weed,
Or
like
both.
like Brazilian hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not
Go
weed.
ahead.
I don't no drugs.
All right,
Your Honor.
good.
So when I was working in the salon, I ended up a bunch of women would come back there. So I said I need to market to these women. So they would come in there and talk about their men problems or whatever, and talk about adult novelties. So I said I can do that right there. So I
Rocking chairs?
no.
Well, what type of
Adult toys like bullets, rabbits, sexual toys.
All right.
So I started a company called The Pleasure Is Yours, and because
Let's see it,
because I didn't want to keep just hustling, just stuff. I wanted to be like a real business, so I got it legalized. So that's why I got the name or whatever.
Right.
So I took everything I had, Your Honor. I saved up about $5,000 or $6,000, and I started from the bottom. Ain't nobody helped me with nothing. You know what I'm saying? I got
what
pictures
you
of
got.
my store. So I went to Nick and I'm like, I need somebody to help me with my store. Right now I don't have the money to be able to put you on salary.
Got that senior citizen table, doctor.
There you go. That's it.
Go ahead. You went to him and you said what?
So I tells Nick, I said, look, I opened up a store and I really need your help. I can't pay you right now because all my money is just tied up into the store. If you can just open up till I get off of work and help me out, that'd be fine. So he agreed to help out, to just fill in. And I was like, I'll give you about like $50 a week just to help me out.
How many hours did you expect him to help out, or did he help out?
He was supposed to be there for 3 days out of the week.
How many hours a day?
Let's see, he's supposed to get in there about 12, and I got off at 5, so that's about 5 hours.
5 hours time to, that's 15 by your own account, and you were giving him $50 a week?
$50 a week. And that was just to help out. It wasn't, I was only doing that for, out of the kindness of my heart.
Part-time work, sir. That's a part-time job.
I just want him to help me get
All right, so-
because I told him in the beginning the store is not going to make that much
All right, well,
money.
you tell me. You don't even have to tell me why he ripped you off, because I just heard why. But tell me what. Tell me what happened. You can give me the facts.
Okay.
But I know why.
All right, I'm going to tell you what happened. This is what happened. So that was in May of 2015, he came in there. By July 2015, I did inventory. When I did inventory, my numbers didn't match up. My numbers didn't match up with my money. This is the inventory sheet, and this is the items that were missing. So when I did the inventory, I was missing 15 monkey bars.
Why did you write in code? I mean, this is legal. You don't have to write in code anymore. That's what, 2 of them things. 3 birds and such and such. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So
Well, this is some. This is some. You could have found it. You should have wrote in code, quite frankly. This is funny. This is funny. Some of this stuff I can't repeat. I'll repeat, and this is the most decent stuff I can say. Handcuffs, butterflies kiss, massage oils. Go ahead.
But I was missing 4 disco light up stripper poles. They cost $270 a piece. I was missing 15 monkey bars at $100 a piece, 7 door swings for $490. So when I noticed that, I was like, I gotta approach him about this. So at first he was like, he tried to deny it. And then he like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I stole it. I took your stuff because I believed that I was owed that. I went out and I sold your stuff, and I believed that I was owed that money.
Plaintiff Aaron Knock is suing his former friend, who claims Aaron preys on older women. And he once walked in on Aaron giving a massage to a woman who was nearly 70.
Sir, let me hear from you.
See, like you said, he was giving me $50 here and there, a total of like $200 within the 8-week time span.
What was the agreement?
There was an agreement. Like, he said he's gonna help me, like, he's gonna throw me some bones. I'm like, all right, and I'll help you out. Like, but he was giving me like $50 here and there. I spent that on sneakers, like,
How
easy.
many weeks did you work there?
8 weeks.
Well, you knew
That's
the first week.
$400.
Hold on. You knew by
No,
the
he didn't.
By the second week, you knew for sure all you were getting is $50 each week. By the third, you definitely knew. Fourth, you definitely knew. Fifth, you should have known. Sixth, if you didn't know, shame on you.
No, it wasn't each week. I mean, I told you, like, you know, I'm telling you, he's a finesser. You know, I was like, I didn't realize he was getting me towards the end. Once I realized, like you said, like the fifth week, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting paid. So I started taking a little off the top.
A little off the top.
How much of the man's items did you take?
I took 4 disco stripper poles, little light up things.
The light up ones, Judge. The light up ones, not regular ones. They lights up.
I could have took everything.
That raises it.
Well, that raises the price.
They light up. Matter of fact.
All right, what else, sir?
Yeah, but this is through the course of time.
What else?
8 monkey bars and 5 swings.
Oh, yeah, that's the girl, the other one, that's the girl who I went to her house. I was to get my hair done. I see a light up pole laying down.
He saw her.
So I says, you know, that's a cool pole, you know, like, where you get it from? We cool. Why you ain't buy it from me? That's how I'm looking like, where you get that pole from? Oh, I got this from your store. Yeah, who you bought it from? I bought it from Nick. How much did he charge you for this pole? Well, I went in there, he told me this pole was $270, and she said, that's too much. This guy gives her the number, hits her up later, charges her $100, and to get his hair retwisted a few times.
Your counterclaim, sir, how does he owe you? $2,700 for unpaid wages, I can imagine, but you tell me.
I was working for him. I mean, I say I was working like 50 hours a week, 12 hours. Like,
It was closed 2 days out the week.
Okay, but I'm working like 12 hours in there. Like, I'm hustling. Even when he's there, he just sits up there like a fat rat, chilling while I'm hustling. I'm working hard. So, you know, after 8 weeks, that equaled up to making minimum wage, bare minimum, which is $7.25 in Georgia, is $2,900. And he gave me $200 in total with a little 50 here and the 50 there. So that's $2,700. I figured he owed me.
Okay. Sir, I believe you told him you'd give him something. And he went 8 weeks. So you should have known by that 5th week. So I may give you 5 weeks worth. But the other one was on you. I'm going to give you $750, sir, for your wages. And I'll give you your $3,070. He admits to taking your property. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Hey, Nick, that's crazy, yo. Like, you know for a fact, like, I helped you out. I drove you, when you ain't have no car, you had nowhere to go. I drove you to all your jobs, all them job interviews out there, too. I never charged. I'm not no Uber. I drove you around the whole Atlanta. Huh? I mean, you gave me nothing. You get what I'm saying?
Bro, you gave me...
He gave you all that fun.
Yeah, thank you.
10 years. Leave that man alone.
Thank you.
Y'all gonna shake hands.
Thank you.
Shake hands and thank him for the fun and thank him for the toys.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate that, man.
No, I got you. No doubt.